truth. Parker Brothers, Nap Town, yo.
Ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my hand on my gun, all my soldiers in line. You better pick up the pace if you're falling behind. My guys hustle every day, ain't none of them dying. Ladies, huddle around if you feel what I'm saying. Parker Brothers deep in the game, but we ain't playing. Keep it moving, stay on your toes, my only advice. It don't matter if you looking for keys or looking for price.
It's not a problem anymore. I'm trying to rob the city for at least 150. Now I'm riding to the core. Paranoid, the coppers knocking at my front door. Peeping out the window, watching with the Glock 44. Young Malcolm Little with a lot of weed in me. Gotta fly for you snakes. Fakes against breed envy. Drink Henny till I'm sober again. Roll up a blunt and do it over again. I got some problems on my mind. A chip on my shoulder and a body on my nine. Trying to grind 100 million with a nickel and a dime. For every rhyme there's a riddle. In the middle every shine. Everybody carry nines. Let me run it down the line. I keep my mind on my money. Money in the safe. Before they run up in my place and flee the scene without a trace. Track a thing without the bass. I'm dying for a taste, so you know what time it is. Shouting to your face.
Ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my hand on my gun, all my soldiers in line. You better pick up the pace if you're falling behind. My guys hustle every day, ain't none of them dying. Ladies, huddle around if you feel what I'm saying. Parker Brothers deep in the game, but we ain't playing. Keep it moving, stay on your toes, my only advice. It don't matter if you looking for keys or looking for style. I just wanna run up in my spot, take what I got. Put me in a pass when I was sleeping on the cot. If you make it past Athena and Zeus related rocks, I'ma get hot. Put the up the beam on your knot to get the shot for stretching the truth. Running game, Apex and 4-5, and like one and the same. Don't you know my fucking name? It's all in the door. Up the game, so that's in the fire, ready for war. Parker Brothers keep it raw. Raw's a geek, raw, and any faggot ass freestyle that you can spit. And official, if you ready to blast, put the Cali in my face, same steady and fast, it ain't hard. Disregard all the drama you heard. Put the balls in your hand, pull the trigger, you nerd. Like I thought you were fake, nigga, trying to keep it real, but you missing your heart. It's all good, passing still. Ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my hand on my gun, all my soldiers in line. You better pick up the pace if you're falling behind. My guys hustle every day, ain't none of them dying. Ladies, huddle around if you feel what I'm saying. Parker Brothers deep in the game, but we ain't playing. Keep it moving, stay on your toes, my only advice. It don't matter if you looking for keys or looking for Christ. Either get on the one, take it 2 to the 3. If you ain't ready to ride, you ain't rolling with me. Lot on my mind, I'm swimming in stress. All these hate lines, give it a rest. Don't hate the next man for doing his thing, my nigga. The bottom line, we was born to be kings, my nigga. Throw up your hands if you're ready to ride. You can tell it's all real by the look in my eyes.
Yeah.
Ready for war, we ready to shine. I got my
Metro D, Parker Brothers.
Parker Brothers,
The motherfucking truth.
Nap Town in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's the motherfucking truth, yeah. Yeah, I'm nothing but the truth, so help me God, you know what I mean?
Parker Brothers.
Hey, get Metro D in here, just like that. Alright. Now, I was kind of, my voice is cracking, you know what I'm saying?
Let's do the back.
What up, crew? Your boy is in the building. What's good? Another Big Brother Top 5 with your boy Shay, but we gonna do this shit live though. If you're in the chat room, show me some love one time. Hit the like button. Say what's up in the chat. What's good, Will? Cuz I see you. Tammy, what's good? Bridget in the building. I like. I wonder what y'all gonna think of my top 5. I wonder what y'all gonna think. Heather, what's good? Make sure as always you like this video. If you ain't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Toxic Bunny in the building. Anyway, hit the Patreon link if you so choose. You know, always go follow me on Twitter at Metro D, Facebook.com/BBLife with Shay, Instagram at RA Football. Your boy feel good. I had one of the worst weeks of my life, but that shit's over now. So So let's get into this top 5. First off, everybody in the chat right now, tell me your favorite Big Brother fight. Tell me your favorite Big Brother fight. My number 1 is going to be shocking, and it might actually piss some of y'all off, but it was the only compromise. I had to do a compromise of some sort. Ooh, Evil Dick. He should have been kicked out of the house for that shit. He should have been kicked out of the house for that shit. I mean, he burned Jim with that cigarette, man, and I thought Jim was fine. I don't know why, man. Jim was so fine to me when that show was out, man, but Shima and Russell, Meatball, yeah, Meatball had some funny moments. It's hard for me to respect any of their fight. I mean, they were the first season I ever seen where they had a house meeting where everybody was just too scared to say anything, and it was like 6 or 7 minutes of just dead silence. Like they were all just sitting there. I guess they were too scared. They were definitely too scared. So at number 5 is from BB19, and it is Alex versus Cody at number 5. Can anybody in the chat right now tell me why that fight would be number 5 on my list? Just maybe a hint of a guess, maybe. Pretty easy to me. That's when we get Cody's infamous "all I want to do is eat this Honey Nut Chex" line, and that will forever be one of the greatest quotes in Big Brother history. You have Alex was pissed off at Cody, trying to make some type of deal with Cody, and the shit really didn't fall through like it was supposed to. So Cody basically went rogue on the deal. He didn't really care. He was going home anyway. So like they basically tried to just gang up on Cody in the kitchen. Cody's at the bar. I mean, Alex is just going off, and that's what Cody was eating. And I was like, well, she was like, I had your back. And he was like, and now I'm out of the running for $500,000. And I thank you for that. And so they going back and forth. And then he was just like, man, all I want to do is eat this Honey Nut Chex. And I got to give Cody this. That cereal is fire, man. If you have not had Honey Nut Chex, you need to go get a box. I have to agree with Cody. When you're eating that Honey Nut Chex, you ain't trying to deal with shit else. So, no, absolutely not, Will. Whistlenut and Matt's argument can never make a list. Whistlenut hid in a fucking storage room for 20 minutes. So, I will never be able to respect that. So, no Whistlenut. Whistlenut did not make the list. Sorry to ruin the list by saying that. Whistlenut did not make the list. Dumbass. And not you, Will. Whistlenut. He's the dumbass. So, but, yeah, so Cody's going in about the Honey Nut Chex, and that just caught me off guard. And the best part of the argument was the end of the argument where if you didn't realize that Paul was in complete control of this entire house, you realized it after this. You're fucking gumpy. Alex calls Cody gumpy. And then Paul goes, great use of the word gumpy. Pull up. Pull up, man. Paul, you and all of your minions can pull up right now. Like, she really used gumpy in a fight, and in front of Paul, it was almost like, look, Paul, aren't you proud? Like, who the hell says somebody else's catchphrase when that person's there? Like, usually you, like, say someone's catchphrase, like, kind of, like, shout them out when they not there, but you don't really say nobody's catchphrase in front of them, man. Like, that's really not how you're supposed to play that card. And if somebody actually does, you don't co-sign your own catchphrase. That was a great use of the word gumpy. Man, Paul's weak as shit, man, and that's why he blew a 3-1 lead. Coming in at number 4. Number 4, I hope y'all still with me. Number 4. At number 4, Boogie and Frank versus Dan Giesling. Big Brother 14. What made this fight one of the greatest fights ever for me? Boogie and Dan had a full conversation with Dan only saying like 4 words. So basically, it was supposed to be like a veterans alliance where it was supposed to be like Boogie, Frank, and Dan, and then Ian and the other side of the house created a group, the Quack Pack, and Dan was in the Quack Pack basically, and Dan saw a chance to get Boogie out, and you can knock Dan and be like, oh, that was disloyal what he did, but if I'm a vet and I'm in there with other vets, I got to get the other vet out. I mean, what else was he supposed to do? He found a way to get Boogie out, somebody who his alliance has won every time they've been in the game. And he officially had a Chilltown alliance in that game. And Frank was a monster. I didn't believe in Frank when the season first started, but Frank was a monster. And had they left Boogie in there like that, so Boogie basically got blindsided. Dan caught him. And so him and Boogie, so Boogie's just going around the house talking to people about being up on the block and shit now, knowing he's getting ready to go home. And he knew Dan was doing it. So Dan's in the living room just reading his Bible, because that's what Dan always wants to do. He just wants to sit and read the Bible when shit's hitting the fan. So he's reading the Bible, and Boogie comes, sits in there right next to him while he's reading the Bible, talking to Frank like, "Hey man, this motherfucker here, man, he's real good. He's real good." And so Frank's like, "Yeah, he got us, man. He got us." And he's just sitting there, and then he said, "Man, I gotta give you props. And only thing Dan said the entire time was basically like, ain't no celebrating yet, because Dan knows. Dan's like, you a monster like I'm a monster. You've won this game, and like I won this game, so anything can happen between now and eviction. Ain't no spike in the football by Dan. But Boogie went in for like 10 minutes, and Dan didn't say anything the entire time. But they were communicating. It's the weirdest shit ever. You got to see that shit. What's up, Kim? Kim in the building. Yes, Frank was scary. Frank the Tank. And I'm not talking about Kaminsky. Yeah, so that was definitely one of my favorite fights. It was lopsided, but it wasn't. You feel what I'm saying? So, take a guess at number 3. Let me get a number 3 guess. I want us to be interactive tonight. Where's my sugar-free soda at, man? Nope. How come you can't consider that an argument, cuz? How come? They legit argued. It was a legit argument. Because Dan could have thrown Ian under the bus, and he didn't throw Ian under the bus. That was really the whole reason why Dan was quiet, just not to throw Ian under the bus. But it was enough. I mean, because Boogie was arguing with Dan behind some shit Dan did, whether or not Dan said all that much back. Hey man, Toxic Bunny, you get to ring the bell tonight. At number 3, it's Rachel versus Reagan. Oh my God, this is man, they did argue. They argued. Because and the one part where they did argue is when Dan tried to pretend he didn't know the shit, but he did know it. So number 3, Reagan versus the Bushes. So yeah, Christy in the building. Rachel and Reagan. Rachel and Reagan was one of the greatest fights ever for me because, all right, so that was the Brigade season. And this is why the Brigade is one of the worst alliances ever. The whole season, it was the whole house, and then you had Rachel and Brendan. And then on the side, that's the whole house, you had it broken into the Brigade and like the other 2 people. So them motherfuckers couldn't even really get Rachel out of the house. They kept trying. She kept winning. Then they finally got her out of the house. So then somebody opened Pandora's box, and Rachel got to come back in the house. But she didn't get to come back in the house to play. She didn't get to come back in the house to play permanently. What she got to do was she got to come back in the house for 24 hours and just be around for 24 hours. So the whole time she gets back in the house, like, so her and Reagan been beefing all season. Because she's real catty, and, you know, Reagan just wasn't feeling that shit. And so the whole 24 hours, she just keeps fucking with Reagan. Keeps messing with him. Keeps messing with him. And then she found out, she was like, well, who's on the block? And then Reagan was like, me. And she was like, not surprising. She was like, well, looks like you'll be with me next week. And he was like, nope, I won the veto already. And then she felt stupid right there. So then time goes on, a couple hours later. Rachel finds out that Reagan's on slop. So as you can see in the backdrop right here, Rachel's walking outside to ask Reagan if he would like some warm, gooey chocolate chip cookies, knowing that he's on slop. And he lost it. He lost it. They start going in at each other. Rachel said one of the funniest things I ever heard. She said, because she has a lot of friends that are gay, that she knows that Reagan sucks at being gay. Like that's some shit I've never heard in my life. Somebody tells somebody gay, man, you suck at being gay. So I mean, Reagan was going in. Then like if she would like trip over her words, Reagan was like, you better come quick when you come at me, honey. You're an evil, disgusting little wench with bad. I mean, he clowned her on her weave. He killed her. And she's hashtag minus booty and weave. So she couldn't even make it into that. So, and then cause you absolutely right. And then the part where she started, he killed her and she started laughing, and she started doing he started doing her high pitch, making fun of her laugh, man. I mean, Reagan went, and then like he went on like this like 30-second tirade at the end, and then gets up and walks in the house, and Rachel's just standing there. Rachel used to get roasted. Rachel used to talk so, I mean, she was psycho. She would talk so much shit when she would win, and then when she lose, would be just so utterly devastated. Man, that shit was just so weird to me. So, we'll say that to go into number 2. Number 2 features Rachel, yet again. Jeff and Rachel, BB13. So, it was the veto competition. And so, it was supposed to be an alliance of Jeff and Jordan, Brendan and Rachel. And so, if I'm not mistaken, Jordan's the HOH. So, she's HOH, and it's this competition where basically, yes, it was veto. Because basically, the competition was they got to walk across a balance beam and get a gumball out of the bowl, eat the gumball, walk back across the balance beam, put the gumball on the wall, and it was like, I forget how many you had to do, but you did it enough, and it made a veto all the way around. Okay, so you had to make one big veto board. First person to do it, then you go back and you grab like this cardboard veto and go back and you win the veto. Okay, so now they're doing it, and Jordan falls off. Now, Jordan's pretty much really behind everybody. So they had it so if you wanted to get back in the game, you get back on the balance beam, but you had to go get this sucker and put it in your gumballs, and the sucker was for 2 weeks of slop. So just for another chance to win, you had to take 2 weeks of slop. So Jordan didn't want to look like the weak link in the alliance, which anytime you're in an alliance with Rachel, you never have to worry about being the weak link. Because no matter how strong Rachel is, she's just as emotionally weak at the same time. So Jeff is yelling at Jordan like, you better not take that fucking slop. You better not take that slop, or I'm going to be mad at you. I don't care whatever else you think going on with the game. If you take that slop pass, I'm going to be mad because he's like, you're already losing. You're going to take 2 weeks of slop to get back in this game that you have no chance of winning and just take 2 weeks of slop for what? So she doesn't. Rachel starts talking shit to Jordan like, you know, I guess we shouldn't try to win if the HOH ain't try to win. Like, in front of the whole house, like at the competition saying this shit. So Jeff is pissed, you know, and she's just making snide comment after snide comment. Next thing you know, Rachel falls off the balance beam. Rachel, now, since she talks shit about Jordan not taking the slop, what does Rachel have to do now? Like a dummy. She takes the slop. Why? Why are you taking the slop? So she takes the slop because she's a competitor, gets back up on the balance beam, like 2 minutes later she fell. So now, so Jeff's pissed off because he's like, I got a 4-person alliance. I got one person wanting to take an L for the team for no reason, just to show that, hey, I'm a fighter. Then you got another person on the team yelling at her for not doing that stupid shit to only put themselves in a position to do the stupid shit. So no matter what, Jeff had to end up with somebody in his alliance not winning the veto and being on 2 weeks of slop. So after the veto competition, like directly after, they hadn't even went back in the house yet. Jeff's like, you know, I don't appreciate them comments, you know, all that shit you up there saying about Jordan or whatever. And then she was like, well, I took the 2 weeks of slop. I didn't want you to take it either, idiot. And then, you know, Brendan will argue with anybody except somebody he's scared of. So he was scared of Jeff. He's just like, come on, Jeff. And then, you know, Jeff's pissed because he's just like, why did you do that? Why did you go up there and yell at Jordan like that? Mind you, the rest of the house is hearing all this and kind of like, oh, shit. So what does Rachel do? Rachel runs and hides in the bushes. She hid in the bushes. She hid in the bushes. She hid there. How crazy is that shit? So, and I'm talking about she was there for a minute. They opened the house, and then Brendan's over there. Brendan's just like, look, baby, but look, baby, I understand what you're saying and all this shit and whatnot, but you can't be just wilding out, getting mad like this. You making us look bad. And they're really having this discussion, and she's in the bushes. Like, you can't really even see her, and they had to subtitle everything she said. And so Lawan, his crazy ass, which I forgot that Lawan had a move, just to go off subject for a second. Lawan had a move that had to be worse. It had to be worse. It had to be worse than what Marcellus did. Can we agree to that? I'm gonna put a poll up. Who made the dumber move? And if you don't remember what Lawan did, just say you don't remember. But if you remember what Lawan did, who made the dumber move? Lawan or Marcellus? As I sip from my soda that I'm sure one of you motherfuckers is spit in. Bennett does make our defense nastier. That's real talk. That is real spit from Wallow. So look, this is what Lawan did. Lawan got on the block, told everybody not to use the veto, then told everybody to vote him out. His whole reasoning was because it was supposed to be some special power to bring him back. Already it's the dumbest move in the world. Then he actually got what he asked for. It was actually a battle back. And then he went in that battle back and Brendan whooped his ass. So he didn't even get a proper eviction because like as soon as he was evicted, they just shoveled his ass out the way to be like, Brendan and Rachel are back. This motherfucker, Marcellus didn't use a veto on himself. But like, Lawan did 3 of those moves at the same time. He asked to be nominated, asked to be evicted, so he could get this special power to come back. And then he gets the chance to come back and then gets his ass whooped. That is too hilarious to me. That is too hilarious to me. So, LaJuan was clueless, man. LaJuan was clueless. Number one. Oh, man, number one. Number one was so tough. But what made number one easy was if I didn't just make this number one, then my whole top 10 would have just been, it'd have been just like, it almost would have seemed like, is that the only season of Big Brother you've ever watched? And I have to say, every fight from Big Brother 11, the whole season, number one. In logistics terms, cuz, yeah, you right. He had guaranteed safety in the palm of his hand. But damn, LaJuan shit just sounds more stupid, I guess. Damn, man. If we splitting hairs at this point, it both ended up with their asses going home at the end of the day. But number one, every fight from Big Brother 11. I mean, where do you want to start? Do we want to talk about Ronnie and Russell, Ronnie in the house, Michelle and Ronnie, Ronnie and Kevin, Lydia and Jordan, Lydia and Natalie, they got into it, Russell and Shima, Shima in production, Jeff and Shima, Jeff and Russell, Russell and Jordan. I mean, this was all the same season, and every one of these fights was like, these were good fights. They were definitely entertaining. I mean, when Russell and Jeff, the first fight, when Russell was getting loud at Jeff, and he was like, "This ain't WWE, dog. I'll knock you the fuck out." That's what he told Russell. So I'm just like, they were getting into it. Then Jordan and Russell got into it separately. And Russell and Shima, Shima got into it with production and threw her microphone in the hot tub. Jesse and Russell got into it. Everybody in the house got into it. And the only time they all came together was to get on Ronnie. And that shit Russell did to Ronnie, man. Do you understand that his petty level was on 99? Like, he got that 2K update and his petty level was on 99. Do you know how petty you have to be to follow somebody everywhere they go? Because Ronnie was to the point where he got caught lying to everybody to the point. And, Casey and Ronnie. I forgot Casey and Ronnie got into it. And then Casey and Jesse. Like, it was just so many fights this season. But Ronnie was scared up in his room the whole damn time. He's HOH. He can't even leave the room because he's scared. Because every time he left the room, Russell was right there, following him everywhere he went. Ronnie the rat, rat. Ronnie, you going in there? All right, I'll be out here when you get out. Come right out. Russell follow his ass. Russell be outside playing pool. Ronnie will try to sneak in the kitchen. Ronnie will come inside, start talking shit to him. You up there scheming, tired of scheming. So, yeah, because that was when Russell, and then because Russell and Jeff, their fight was about Russell making fun of Jeff spelling technotronics. Told him to spell a word, and he spelled technotronics. And then Jeff was like, dude, you act like you spelled some elaborate word. He definitely didn't spell responsibilities with they lying ass. But Russell spelled shotgun. He was like, dude, you spelled technotronics. So they got into it over. It was fight after fight. Lydia and Jeff got into it. It was just fight after fight. And then what also made it crazy about this shit was everybody was working with everybody at some point. Like, yeah, Russell and Jeff got into it, but Jeff used the coup d'etat to take Russell off the block because the bigger target was Jesse. Because what Jesse did this season was actually smart. Russell and Jeff were clearly the alphas of the house, and it was like, you pick your side, which one you're on. So Jesse kind of sat back and was the alpha, but the quiet alpha, and took control of like the girls and Kevin for this like misfit type alliance. But it was kind of secret how they did it. So once they figured out that, wait a minute, because Jesse got the girls like, look, y'all come over here, we got all the numbers. So with us having all the numbers, they let them fight it out. And then once they figured it out, they used the coup d'etat, put Jesse and Natalie up, and sent Jesse ass to the house. So and Jesse was salty when he knew what that was. As soon as he used that power, it was over. So I mean, Russell and Shima, they got into it. I mean, Shima was just completely psycho. Like, her and Russell probably would end up together. She got into it. I remember when Michelle and Lydia got into it. Because that's when Michelle and Lydia got into it. That's when Michelle told her, well, go put your leotard. Go put on your unitard, bitch. Because that's when she lost that competition. Had to put that unitard on. She's like, go put your unitard on, bitch. And then Lydia went and poured her beers down the sink. It was like, cheers. Slammed the bottles on the counter. Like, Lydia was a psycho, man. Lydia was a psycho. Oh, man. No, the pink duck fight does not get honorable mention at all. I'm sorry, it does not. Not for me. Honorable mention would be Mike Boogie and God, what was that black chick name from Big Brother 2 when when she was going around telling people that Mike Boogie tried to smash to get votes. Hey man, something was wrong with Russell. Russell was a special breed. Cause 1 second he'll be just the most mild-mannered, polite guy. Hey, how you doing? You look so beautiful tonight, Julie. He'll have a nice little hat on. Then you get in that elevator, man. The next thing you know, you done got hit in the head, fell and hit your head on the rail of the elevator. And next thing you know, motherfuckers ain't in the NFL no more. So that's kind of what it's like being with Russell, man. Cause Russell was ready to fight girls. I mean, he would go in on anybody. He didn't care who it was. He would go in on them. And that's why I was like, it'd have been funny if Russell would have been in this house. Big Brother 19, oh. Him and Cody would have made the coldest alliance and then end up having one of the greatest fights ever. Because they'd have fell out. Both them military crazy motherfuckers would have fell out. But before then, oh my God. They would have man, Paul would have been scared, man. They would have terrorized that whole house. And then Kevin would have been in the background like old Monster. Yeah, get them motherfuckers. I told him. Like, man, sit your old ass down. I always want to try to hype up some shit. So, look, man, I don't like mentioning Evil Dick fights. I got a very kind of strong opinion about Evil Dick. Because he was out of pocket with some of that shit, and they let him get away with some shit they would have let nobody get away with. Like, he burned a motherfucker and won the season. No. But, I mean, him and Jamaica, that was a great fight. Jamaica used to crack me up because I'm like, how are you just like Super Jesus 1 second and then cussing a motherfucker out the next? I always find that type of shit funny. And that's what Jamaica was on. So, you know, if I missed anything, you know where to hit me up at. I'm gonna do a couple more top fives. Let's do another live top five tomorrow. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get up out of here at number 5. Who did we have at number 5? Does anybody remember? Because I sure as shit don't. Number 5, we had Cody and Alex, Big Brother 19. At number 4, we had Boogie and Frank versus Dan, BB13. Then at number 3, we had The Cover Shot, Rachel and Reagan. Then at number 2, we had Jeff and Rachel, BB13. And number 1, Every Fight from BB11. Jordan and Shelly was a great fight. Because Shelly, for whatever reason, got caught up in the moment and decided to pull, and that was BB13. She decided to pull this big move to get Jeff out. It's kind of like the shit they did on Celebrity Big Brother, where I'm like, why are you trying? Okay, I get this person is a super strong person in the house, but they're on your team and there's still a shitload of people in the house. So Why are you trying to evict Shannon when you need Shannon to get all these other powerful people out of the house? This was the same scenario with Shelly. All Shelly did was sit around, smoke cigarettes, get tan until that shit looked like nubuck leather, and then she used to talk with that real deep ass voice. So she decided to kick Jeff and Jordan out of the house. Or she decided to get Jeff out of the house. So when she decides to kick Jeff out of the house, you know, she did it at the behest of Brendan and Rachel, which is stupid to do that shit, because if you're supposed to be on my team and then you go fuck with my known rival, well, if I find out about it, I'm mad at you more than I'm mad at my rival. Me and my rival been beefing. We been beefing. So I'm already mad at them. Now it's like, fuck you, and you number one on the list now. Because if I can't get nowhere near them, you will definitely be the first person I hashtag pull up on. Period. So she did the move. They figured it out. And Jordan was pissed off because Jordan's like, she had won a phone call home to talk to her people. And she gave it to Shelly. And then Shelly turned her back on her. And so there it is, because I was just about to mention it. Shelly was like, you know, I feel like shit. Jordan was like, you should feel like shit. Like you ain't about to get no pity out of this motherfucker. Like, you did all of this. Nobody told you to do that shit. You did that shit. You did that shit on your own, man. I was so happy when they got Shelly leathery ass up out of there. Like the Zing boss said, what sits around, wears jeans, and smokes cigarettes all day? Dude. I think that's the first and only time that the Zing bot ever called a grown woman a dude on Big Brother. And that's real shit, Bridget. You know it's bad when Jordan got to pull up. When Jordan has to, when somebody pull up on you and it's Jordan, you almost chuckle. But hey, man, that's what I loved about Jordan. When she would get pushed to that limit, man, she didn't care. Like, she chest bumped Russell. She's like, I ain't fucking scared of you. And so, I mean, that's just because when the one part that I love when Jeff and Lydia got into it was Jeff told them motherfuckers like, look, man, I walk around this house being quiet, being cool, but if y'all want me to, I can walk around this motherfucker, start making it feel real uncomfortable around this motherfucker. And that's a nice threat to tell people. If y'all don't straighten up, I'm gonna start making it feel real uncomfortable. So hey, man, let's get to it. I see that up there. Somebody said top 5 most dramatic evictions ever. And off top, 2 of my favorites. I don't know where I would rank it. This is just one of the 2 I'm saying. Of course, it's Cody walking across the motherfucking table. If you've never seen Major League 2, go watch Major League 2 and watch the scene where Jack Parkman hits the home run and runs all the way around the bases and then goes into the dugout without high-fiving any of his teammates that are trying to get high fives. And that was Cody. I bullshit you. Actually, when it happened, I made a video of Cody doing it to that music. And so, that one, and I loved Casey when he chewed motherfucker Jesse and Jesse out. Then Natalie tried to jump in. He was like, I ain't even talking to you. What are you, his pit bull or something? This your pit bull? Your word is mud. And Casey got evicted in the banana suit and gave his ass the works. You know, that's the most thug you could look in a if you can be in a banana suit and still tell people to pull up. Respect. Get in the comment box. Let me know what it is. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys and all the support. Hit me up on Twitter at MetroD, Instagram at RAFootball, Facebook.com/BBLife with Shay. I'm sure my daughter Ariana, I'm sure my son Donovan's still up. Take y'all asses to sleep. Whoa, what y'all doing up this late? I'm probably gonna hit the club or something. Hit me up and make sure y'all let me know which videos I need to be doing for the top 5. And I'm leaning towards doing some Canada videos. Yeah, we should just go ahead and do Canada, man. Just rock with it. But what y'all got to lose? I'm gonna be the one reviewing it. So shit, it ain't gonna. The reviews won't be whack. So we might as well fuck with it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be in here tomorrow. If you really want to support your boy, hit that Patreon link. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. Shout out to Toxic Bunny. my first Patreon supporter, man. That means so much to me. Because she knows like I know. I'm going. I have no choice. So, BB20, here I come. Your boy Shay, get at me. And as always, your boy. I'm probably lying.